Boy, that grease was splattering already. How nice. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, I do need your help, folks, in saying how good the sound and the picture quality is, because I am running on a new laptop tonight, and so I need to know if this is going to give a reliable stream. I mean, that's the main reason why I'm doing this tonight. But anyway, yeah, I still have to say it. Live from my kitchen, it's Saturday night because it is. And thank you very much to everybody kind enough to show up here on such short notice on a Saturday night. Because, well, I'm really not asking you to interrupt your Saturday night festivities, just for this. You can always watch the replay later if you'd like. As mentioned, this is really kind of a test anyway, and I'm certainly not going to be here for like an hour or an hour and a half. But I still want to do my best nonetheless to entertain you folks. However, I still would like to ask if you would be kind enough to comment on the video quality and the sound quality. You know, if the color doesn't look right, or or if it seems choppy, or if the feed doesn't seem very well. Because, well, I mean, again, that's the whole point of a test. Okay, I think I've said that already. All right. Anyway, let's get down and have some fun tonight. As I've mentioned, this is actually going to be my third night in a row of deep frying because, yes, I'm doing my best to use that oil that I set out on Wednesday and never did have a chance to use. But, well, this is going to be my third time using it, and so let's do something nice and fun and completely unhealthy tonight. And that, of course, is our good old favorite corn dogs. So let's head over and get started, shall we? I've already mixed dry ingredients together. And yeah, I do have to say one thing as well. When did hot dogs get so small? I mean, yeesh. This is a typical, now they're 12-ounce packages of 8 hot dogs, but even so, these things sure do look tiny, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm just using a basic corn dog recipe from All Recipes, nothing too fancy here. I've got my dry ingredients mixed together, so to this, all we really have to do is the recipe calls for a cup of milk, but of course, for cornbread, I'm going to put in a cup of buttermilk instead, and maybe that might make it a little more likely to stick to the hot dogs, which of course is the real trick, isn't it? So we'll start with that, and then after this, I will mix in an egg, and with that, we will be ready. Well, actually, before I do that, let me check the temperature of the oil here. At this point, the oil it's getting close. I'm saying that. Looks like the oil is just about a little more than 300 degrees, which is good. So that means we only have a few minutes or so before the oil reaches the right temperature. Good. So this shouldn't take very long. Anyway, one difference, of course, between this and your typical cornbread is, again, we want the batter to stick to the hot dogs. So that means this is going to be much thicker, of course, than if we do a regular cornbread in a pan. And yeah, I'd say this looks nice and thick already, especially since I haven't even added the egg yet. So let's do that, shall we? There we go. Plop. Watch that shell. And just mix it in. As I said, nothing special about this. This recipe is kind of, well, it does have sugar in it, yes, some sugar. It's the typical recipe that combines cornmeal, flour, sugar, baking powder. It also includes a little bit of salt and pepper in the batter. So in a way, I guess the idea is to have like a sweet and savory corn dog here. And to that, we just added, well, as I said, buttermilk and an egg. And yeah, this sure was hard, wasn't it? Yeah, all of the most popular recipes are just so easy to do. which I have no complaints about. So there we go. We have cornbread batter and we have hot dogs. So really, I think I just have a few more minutes to wait now until the oil gets to the right temperature. Right about now, let me lock as soon as it seems to be steady. It is climbing at this point. Okay, it seems to, yeah. Currently, it seems to be holding steady right now at 316 degrees. Here's one thing. Is the writing backwards? Are these letters backwards or can you read them? On my screen, they look backwards. Do they look backwards on your screen? Because that's one. If they are backwards on your screen, then yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try to find a way to reverse that. So hello as well to Elsie's cat and William and Jose Latias and William Hurt, Pat Z, and Cynthia Wesley, R.T. Scott, and so many others. They look right. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, as I said, it was reversed on mine. I didn't know if it was reversed on yours. I've done this and used my cornbread pans in the oven. Came out delicious with lots of mustard. Okay, good. I'm very glad to hear that. So far, it looks like this new laptop is working out okay, which is good. That means then next Wednesday, on Cast Iron Wednesday, we will finally be able to just continue where we left off. What was it now? About 2-3 weeks ago, I think. Okay. The recipe says to get this up to 375. At this moment, the temperature seems to have just reached 323 degrees. So maybe yeah, I should probably turn up the heat on the stovetop just a little bit more. Of course, I don't want to overdo it. That's the other thing. I mean, the problem, of course, one problem with deep frying is you don't want to reach the point where you approach the smoke point of the oil. Otherwise, there goes your deep frying. And so far, I've done pretty good. As I mentioned, this is This is my third night in a row using this oil. So, and it's actually still fairly clean. But then again, I've just made some very simple dishes, as you saw from those short videos. Those rice chips and that deep fried steak last night. The steak, I loved how it turned out. I mean, I think it was Papa Dan who commented that usually when you do a deep fried steak, you just coat it, of course, in batter and fry it. But I did not want to do that, largely because I wanted to see how it turned out just like that. Since, I mean, after all, I didn't have to beat that steak either. I didn't have to beat it with a hammer or anything because it was a ribeye, and I really liked the result. Nonetheless, after this, I have one more deep frying project planned, which I hope will be tomorrow night. Anyway, gotta go turn the steak. Oh, good. Somebody else is having steak tonight. I'm glad to hear that. Other than that, though, I mean, feel free as always to discuss and ask questions about cast iron, like always. And yeah, So Jose Latias, I guess what you're talking about probably is baked corn dogs, and yeah, I certainly wouldn't have a problem with that either. Except, I mean, part of the whole point of my doing this, of course, and yeah, at this point we are now at about 339, 340 degrees, 341. So at this point, it looks like we may be there in just a minute or two. So thank you again for your patience. But yeah, as I said, my point is to use all this oil here. I wonder how long I should leave chicken pot roast in the oven. Chicken pot roast. Well, if you're doing a roast chicken, I would really say get out the thermometer and make sure, of course, that the breast approaches 165. Sometimes a deep fried chicken naked with no batter or coating, just throw the bird in the fryer. Yeah, you get a really crisp and very crinkly skin that way. So I don't have a thermometer. Well, then go and get one. And I don't want to sound mean when I say that, but I've said many times I love my cooking thermometer here. I feel it's really something essential here when cooking, especially when cooking meats, as well as like what I'm doing right now, using it to measure the oil. And they're not expensive either, so I would very much recommend that as an investment. Okay, speaking of which, I'm checking the temperature once again. 339, 342, 345, 47, 48, 49, 51, 52. Okay, good. We are over 352. This thing says here it's supposed to reach 375. So again, we are getting close. I suppose I could probably do this now that it's over 350. So okay, good. So, oh, square Wagner skillet. Oh, okay. Well, glad to hear that, Cindy. Let me see. How am I going to do this? I probably should have actually planned this part in advance. Namely, let's move the setup over to the stove now. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. That way I can cover these in batter and put them in the fryer immediately. And now as well, you can take a look at the fryer. So there we go. This is a large cast iron fish fryer. This is the one they re-released a couple of years ago with their Legacy series. I do not have an original large fish fryer. I had actually been keeping an eye out for one, but when this became available, well, obviously I decided to go with it. So there we go. Oops, actually, let's do this. All right, gotta be careful here. All right. Obviously, I don't want this thing to come off the skewer either. That would not be good, but there we go. Here comes. Let's do 1. All right. And since hot dogs are pre-cooked, I realize we only have to keep these things in the fryer for, in the oil for like maybe a couple of minutes or so, just until the cornbread is done. And that's about all we need. So here, oops, and as well, of course, I'm going to end up making a mess. I have little doubt about that. But here comes number 2. All right, now comes 3. Yeah, I promise as well, this won't take very long here, folks. This is not going to be like an hour-long session. And that's good because it looks like these things are not going to take very long either. Wow, they're puffing up. I mean, man, I'm surprised how fast this is going. In fact, I should probably turn them over, in fact. Once I put in number 3 here, I think I will. Come on. There we go. And here comes number 3. All right. How can I turn it over? Well, I could use these tongs. There's a concept. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't look like they're going to turn over, are they? Also, I don't want them to stick together. So, I guess pretty much when they look dark enough, I would presume they're done. I mean, what can I say? It's cornbread. This isn't exactly rocket science here. Although it is science. Cooking is science. Anyway. All right. I have a confession as well to make. This is my very first time making corn dogs. Fortunately, as I mentioned, this is such an easy recipe that I'm not especially worried about it. But nonetheless, folks who have made corn dogs, I mean, feel free to comment your tips or your experiences with making corn dogs. I mean, that's really what makes these. Ooh, great. I think I just got a drop of oil on me. Oh, well. Okay, well, there's a tip, I guess. Don't splash the oil. All right. Well, just do what I can. And anyway, when everything's all done, I guess we can use the batter to make corn fritters, too. So, since I moved to Texas, I've slowly been unboxing my cast iron. Nice. I'll be doing some more after I watch my UCLA Bruins. Okay. and maybe one more, and it looks like at least one of these may be just about ready to come out. Yeah, I mean, this is another reason why, of course, they're so popular at Carnies. They are so fast. They cook so fast. I mentioned we had like a Carney festival here in town today. They call it their annual Apple Festival, which of course is pretty much just an excuse to have your usual town festival. You know the kind. They cordon off a few blocks of the downtown area, bring in all of the local businesses with their booths and arts and crafts and stuff, as well as some food trucks for local restaurants, so where everybody goes and mills around and buys their trinkets and eats the greasy food and generally has a good time. And it was fun. It was some fun there. You know, I spent a couple of hours browsing around there. Kind of like what the National Cornbread Festival is, except it's a lot smaller. This one seems to be having some trouble sticking for some reason. I hope the batter isn't having a problem. All right. Okay, now remember, as I said, don't splash the oil. That would be bad. There we go. Much better. And at this point, move this around. Yeah, I can see here. From the looks of it, I'm thinking at least one of these is probably already done. Wonder if I can pick it up by the skewer without dropping it. There we go. I like the way the skin smooths out by itself. I mean, I've seen all of these photos of corn dogs with the smooth skin, and I guess it does that by itself. Yeah, take a look. So, yeah, definitely. Oh, yes. Carny food, which is basically 90% grease and 10% junk food. Isn't it wonderful? Here comes another one. But on the other hand, we don't eat carny food because it's healthy. We eat it because it's delicious. It's traditional, yes, but mostly because it's delicious. We've got 3. I think I can do number 6 here. And by that time, it may be time to take at least another one of these out of the oil. But yeah, these things are so small. See, the next time I do this, I'm actually going to have to go for the so-called jumbo dogs, which are probably what regular size hot dogs used to be. Oh yes, back when I was your age, hot dogs were the length of my arm. And I ate 15 of them at a time. Okay, so again, I place it in. There we go. A little better. And okay, let's take a look at another one of these. Here we go. I'm sure they have some other thing besides tongues to take these out of the oil. On the other hand, this doesn't seem to be doing too badly. Maybe I should check that oil